Hi, good morning. How you doing? I'm Amber Hopkins. I'm Punk Rock Earth Mother. Today we're going to be talking about reading those pesky nutrition labels. Those things that are on, all the processed foods and that we are confused by because they are confusing, right? So let's get right into it because I have a lot of information to share and I've got my notes in front of me and I just want to get it all in real fast for you guys. So maybe take out a pen if you need help with this and jot some notes, okay? So the first thing obviously on the nutrition label is calories. That's kind of simple, right? How many calories is in it? Calories from fat, sometimes it'll tell you. Let's see, the next thing is total fat. So fat, what is fat? Saturated fat is what they are talking about here, saturated and trans fat. They'll do total fat and then they'll do saturated and then they'll do trans fat. So saturated fat is fat with all the hydrogen atoms, bonds completed. That's all it is. It just means it's completely saturated with hydrogen. Then there's the mono and poly unsaturated. Unsaturated means they don't have all the hydrogen atoms. That's all it is. It's really simple. So those are better. Mono and poly are actually better for you than the saturated. Saturated is like animal fats, coconut oil, palm oil. Those are all going to be really thick, really heavy oils, and they are not. There we are, yay. Sorry about that. Anyway, so the saturated fats are not so good for you. So they want to try to keep that to a really small percentage of your diet. 7% total saturated fat in your diet is what the RDA is saying. Okay, trans fats are simply when they take the unsaturated fats and they add hydrogen to it to try to create a saturated fat, right? So they're actually chemically changing it. So those are not good for us because they have lost all the nutrition that even the saturated fats have with, and they're really bad for your body. Tissue inflammation and worse for heart health than even the saturated fats are for you. So those are all listed right there. The RDA does say 20 to 35% of your diet from fats. Some fats are better than others, like they talk about omega-3s and omega-6s. Those are oils that you want to get into your diet, but they're better as a food base kind of a thing rather than trying to get it in from oils. The saturated fats are going to be firmer and cloudier, and the unsaturated ones are softer and clearer. So you can tell that if you put it in the refrigerator and it clouds up. All oils actually are a mix of all these different types, saturated, mono, and poly. So just look for the ones that are more of the mono or the poly. The poly is best, okay? Let's see. Next on the list is cholesterol. Now, our bodies actually create cholesterol on their own. We do not need to add cholesterol to our diet. We need, the RDA lists it, you want to keep it, if you ingest it, you want to keep it to 300 milligrams a day. Some people with their genetics cannot handle any cholesterol, and that's why you'll have two people with the exact same diets and one gets heart disease and the other one doesn't because of genetics. Also, saturated and trans fats are influential in that because they will actually raise blood cholesterol. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Cholesterol, thank you. Jeez, cholesterol levels in the body. Speaking. I didn't have any sleep last night, sorry about that, so that's why I can't speak today. It's still all up here, I just can't get it out. Anyway, dietary fiber is next. Fiber is super important. It can actually lower your blood cholesterol levels. It plays a key role in reducing type 2 diabetes, can regulate your blood glucose, and it can defend against cancer. So it's like it creates cellulose in your intestinal system, and it puffs up, and it makes it easier to get to have a bowel movement, right? So it's good stuff. It has folate in it, so you want the whole grains, the actual real fibers. Added, like pills and stuff, are not going to do the same. They're not going to be as effective. Butyrate is what is created in the colon after you eat a bunch of fiber, and butyrate is what the colon actually feeds on. So it like creates its own food, but if you don't give the colon what it needs, that's when you start to get polyps and tumors and things like that. So you can get this, you need 24 to 38 grams a day of fiber. And that's usually from 5 to 9.5 servings of fruits and vegetables. Did you hear me? That's right, 5 to 9.5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Are you getting that? Give me a 1 if you're getting that. I'd love to see that. That'd be awesome, because most people do not get that. Most people do not get enough fiber in their diet, and that's why we're getting all the colon problems. Okay, moving on. Sugars. Another big stumper here. Sugars can worsen the risk of heart disease. Heart disease is actually a leading cause of death in the United States. Did you know that? Number 2 is cancer. So heart disease is first. So a lot of these things play into that, and they all work together, if you notice that too. It's interesting when you start going into that. So sugar. American Heart Association recommends 100 calories of sugar, added sugar. Now these are added sugars I'm talking about. Added sugar for women and 150 calories for men. So that's about 6 teaspoons for women and 9 teaspoons for men. And that's after you get all of your other requirements in a day. So that's the problem. See, most people do not get all their added requirements in a day. And so they're just adding sugar in. And that's when you start to get a lot of your problems too. We actually do need glucose in our diet. There are 6 types of sugars. Glucose and fructose are the main ones that we hear about a lot. And we do need glucose. Areas of our brain do not run on fat. They will not run on fat. They have to run on glucose. And if they don't get glucose, then they use protein instead, and they will break down protein. But protein is not usually used for energy. Actually, protein is involved in many other functions in your body. And so when it starts to use protein, it takes it away from the actual functions of protein in your body, like immune function. So this is why I do not recommend the keto diet, because this is one of the main reasons, is because if you're using protein to run your brain, then it's not helping your immune function, which is where it's supposed to be. One of the things that it does. Okay, so let's see. Some sugar is good for you. Sugar alcohols actually prevent tooth decay. And fructose from fruit does not work in the body like added sugars do. So fructose only slightly elevates your blood glucose, whereas ingesting glucose or any of the other sugars is going to raise your blood glucose levels. And a lot of it is not good. Some of it, you know, a balance, always a balance, right? 1 teaspoon equals 4.2 grams, just so you, in case you're measuring that. But again, you want to work on getting more fruits and vegetables into your diet and less sugars. Now, the nutrition label does not tell us what's added and what is not added. It just says sugars, right? So you don't know where that's from. You have to read the ingredients. Any kind of added sugar is not what you want. They're not going to tell you if it's from fruit. It's not going to say apples, fruit, sugar. It'll just say apples, okay? So you can assume if the product is made out of fruit or vegetables that it's going to have sugar in it. It's not always bad, that sugar line. It just depends on the ingredients. Okay, so the next line is, of course, all the daily values. Now these are confusing. It does tell you like vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron, but they are percentages, and also they are based on a 2,000 calorie diet of an average U.S. citizen. Now, what do they call an average U.S. citizen? Men. I'll let that sink in for a minute. Anyway, 2,000 calorie diet for men is like a 9-year-old. Most men need way more calories than 2,000 calories. So these percentages do not benefit you. I would just, if I were you, I would just look and see that they have these elements in it and move on. If you do want to know, if you want to add up your daily calories, and your nutrients, I've done this. I was in a couple of nutrition classes, and they make you do that. They give you, here's your meal plan. Here's this guy's meal plan. He eats this and this and this all day. Add up the magnesium, add up the protein. It takes hours and hours and hours. There are actually apps that can do that for you. MyFitnessPal is one of them. It's not going to do all of it for you. The best way to find out particular nutrients in each one is just to Google an apple and ask what nutrients are in it. It will tell you. Or get one of these handy nutrition books like I have, and you can look up any fruit and vegetable. A lot of like fast food stuff is in here too. It's pretty cool. I circled flax seeds for you guys, so I thought this was interesting. You can go across and see all the nutrients now. Like I said before, fruits and vegetables actually contain a ton of nutrients in each one. everything is protein, everything is calcium. So like flax seeds, 142 milligrams of calcium a day, 118.5 milligrams of folate. So then what you would do is you go and look at the RDA intakes for these minerals. So, and it lists it by calories and by age, and because everybody is different. Every age is different. Females and males are different in their needs. It's interesting. So females ages 31 to 50, calcium level 1,000 milligrams a day is what you need. So you just start adding that up all day and add up every single thing that you eat and calculate that to find out how much calcium you've gotten in a day. Most people, if you eat a ton of fruits and vegetables, your calcium's going to be fine. You don't have to worry about that. Your potassium's going to be fine. Your magnesium's going to be fine. Those things are all in fruits and vegetables. It's when you start to eat less fruits and vegetables and less organic that you're starting to get less and less minerals in your diet. That's when you have to start supplementing, okay? Is there anything else interesting that I wanted to tell you? Let me see here. So like the energy, sorry about that, keeps clicking out on me. So anyway, females ages 31 to 50 need 240 calories per day. Of course, this is different for everybody. I mean, what if I'm like a basketball pro or something? I need way more than that. But this just gives you an idea of how much everybody needs. Little infants, 520 calories per day. So that's interesting. But it also tells you that the nutrition label is kind of whack. Anyway, if you have any questions, please message me. If this helped you, give me a heart. Give me some love down there. I'd love to see that. And we will talk another day, okay? Love you. Talk to you later.